So this isn't going to be my loveliest of recordings, but I just got back from a walk or run and had a good cry and was trying to pinpoint the loneliness and the I guess depression and the hurt and just the pain that I internally feel at the moment. And this is just me being real and opening up, because again, I feel like we're just so closed off to one another. We're so closed off to our own emotions, to our pain and our feelings, and understanding that it's okay to feel, it's okay to be hurt, it's okay to feel depressed, to feel down, to feel anger, to feel any emotion besides happiness. That's part of the human experience. And I realized where it comes from, where it's coming from right now. And so June 2nd, 2012, my brother took his life. And so every Memorial Day weekend, it's almost like my body and my brain know, and I'm reminded. And so Memorial Day always ends up being hardest for me than the actual day itself. And so just the unbelief that it's been 8 years. I think too, like, I drown myself in work always, and I always have. I think to mask pain that I feel. And here's the thing, the more that I date and get to know people, the more that I understand that we are terrible at dealing with our shit. And I feel like I've tried really hard to work on myself, to work on my struggles as a person, as a human, to overcome things from my childhood, to overcome my brother's suicide, to overcome my own thoughts of suicide, to overcome me leaving a very supportive church to be true to myself. But we're all a work in progress. I'm not perfect. I have a long ways to go. Hence why I'm 29 and single. I just have so many thoughts. I feel lonely because I've lost a lot of people in my life. And it's almost like I've gotten to a point where when people come and go, I brush it off like it's no big deal. And it hurts. It hurts for a good bit, but I don't live in that. And so, therefore, I don't have a ton of close friends. And then it gets to me when I get on social media and I see all the people who have tons of friends, and I just wonder why I've not been able to do that. Why I've never been able to be close to people besides the people that I'm dating. And I think the answer to that is I would rather be hurt by maybe falling in love and finding my forever person than losing people that come and go, because we evolve and we change, and that's just part of life. I feel like I'm rambling, but I just have a lot of thoughts. There was a lot that I was trying to work out in my mind. The post the other day that I made on Instagram, giving a shout out to my younger self, I just look at that Katie and I just think how amazing she is, how unbelievable it is that for everything that she went through, and how she's just continued to remain open to people and to love, and how she's believed so much in authenticity and wants so much for the world and so much for the younger generations and the underprivileged children, and for people who have had terrible things done to them. That Katie is amazing. Sometimes I wonder where that girl went. And some days I feel like that things are going well, but I just think that that's denial. Being an entrepreneur is great and all, but when you're a first-time entrepreneur, you learn a lot. You learn a lot of things through error. And I feel like I keep digging this huge trench and I don't know how to get out of it. A part of me cried because it sounds so dumb, but again, this is me being super real, because I think it can help people with their own selves. But when I found out that my brother took his life, I was the first one to be called in our family, and I'm the youngest, and of my whole family, cousins and everything. I was mad. You go through, part of the grieving process is anger, especially with suicide, because it's different. When someone chooses to take their life, it's a lot harder to process. There's guilt, there's trying to figure the answers of why, like where it went wrong, what they were dealing with, should I have known, could I have done anything different, all sorts of stuff. And a lot of people experience anger towards the person because they feel like it's selfish. And so while my family was grieving that anger, my anger was that I felt like he took my way out, because for so long I was in a constant battle between trying to be this perfect Mormon girl, this really good Christian, to make up for my inadequacies. To make up for me liking women. And so I always had this internal battle between not loving myself and trying to put on this, and it's not even a show, but it was like I really genuinely tried to be the best person that I could be to compensate for me living in sin. And so my anger was that I felt like he took my way out. I felt like that was how I was supposed to go. I was the one that was not supposed to be here anymore, because that's the pain that I felt, and the anguish and the battle. And so a lot of stuff happened right after he died. Literally shit hit the fan. 21 years old, in the middle of my junior year of college, and I can barely finish out my junior year. Didn't even go back for my senior year because a lot happened. And I hit rock bottom for 2 years, and I had to confront a lot of shit in my life. I had to deal with all of the anger that I felt from my childhood, of abandonment from my mom, and the things that I dealt with and that I saw, and I had to deal with all that. And it was lonely. It was literally walking through hell. But through that pain and through that agony, it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about life. It taught me a lot about love. It taught me a lot about people. And it taught me a lot about learning to love yourself for who you are. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what you identify as, or what color you want your hair, or whatever. That you can still be a follower of Christ. You can still love people. You can still be loved by God. And when I learned that, I left the church and I moved to Seattle to be out. And as you can tell, there's a lot of pain there. And this is the weekend that always is a reminder of that pain. And no matter how many years go by, it doesn't make it less painful. Time helps, but it doesn't fill the gaping hole that you feel. Another thing on my run, I felt like I've done pretty good in my life about recognizing the challenges and seeing that they're there for. I take a lot of the good with the bad, and I try to find the positive and to come out stronger, and that's just how I've learned to deal with things. And it's made me a better person. But it almost makes me wonder if, I don't know, my thing is that hard things are there to make us better and to push us outside of our comfort zone. It's just like working out. When you start feeling like you're exhausted, like that's the time to push. And mentally speaking, same way. But it just makes me wonder if, I don't know, if that's actually the right way to see it. I don't know. I think it's good to question your own beliefs. I think it's good to question your own thoughts. I think it's good to question what your parents have taught you, what you've learned along the way. But anyways, it's 14 minutes in and I just feel like I'm rambling. It's okay to feel pain. It's okay to feel anger. It's okay to be lonely. And it's, again, this is not a attention-seeking thing. I record these videos because I feel like in my authenticity, my hope is that other people can be authentic with themselves and be authentic with other people. Because I really believe, and maybe I'm dumb and naive, but I really believe that we connect to one another through being vulnerable, and there's a lot of things to learn from one another. There's a lot of, and it's healing to talk about it versus bottling it up. And I would know because I was the queen child of bottling everything up, and I was super angry as a kid. And the older I've gotten and the more vulnerable I've been about my life, and that's everything in my life, it's just helped me heal. And again, if there's like any ounce of, for anyone like that, oh my gosh, like, yeah, that I resonate with that, or that aha moment for you or for anyone, like, I feel like I've done something for the world. But it's okay to feel alone. It's okay to feel despair. It's okay to feel sadness. It's okay to be angry. It's okay. That's all of the human. It's part of being a human. And so you should never be ashamed of who you are or anything. Be you. When I say that, I really mean like be you, accept you for who you are, but be your best self, treat other people with kindness, be loving, serve people, be authentic. Those are my parting words. But if there's anything that I leave in the world, it's those things. Be real. Be you. Be authentic. Be your best self. Strive to be better. Read the books. Go to the counseling. Talk to your significant other. Be open. Deal with your own shit. So those are my thoughts today.